What's going on, guys? Today, we're taking a look at the UFC Bantamweight division, one of the divisions that just crowned a new champion, seeing Henry Cejudo vacate, and we're talking about what the hell is going on. So if you guys haven't been following the situation closely, let me set the stage for you guys and what is going on here now. Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master, if you don't know who that is, top UFC bantamweight. I think he's ranked number 1 at this point on the UFC rankings, or he's ranked number 2 on the UFC official rankings for the bantamweight division. He's been on a run of wins. Since 2019, since the start of 2019, he's put together 3 straight wins against top 10 level competition. And in his most recent fight, you'd have the boss man Dana White coming out and saying this.
Aljamain Sterling and Cory Sandhagen seems like a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you kind of eyeing that as the winner gets a title?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
But now that we've crowned a new world champion, a new bantamweight champion, things have changed a little bit in the mind of boss man Dana White. And to Aljamain Sterling's displeasure, he's responding to questions like this now.
Aljamain Sterling is all over social media these days, campaigning to get the next shots. I know you have to go home and talk to matchmakers, but is he the number 1 contender in the bantamweight division?
Is who the number 1 contender?
Sterling.
Sterling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He's in there. He's up there.
For sure. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, Dana White being so indecisive on making a decision about the bantamweight division would tell me that if he's gone from saying Aljamain Sterling's going to fight for the title to I don't know who the number 1 contender is, he's up there, it's really bringing to my mind that he's thinking somewhere else. He's looking somewhere else. He's seeing something that he can flirt with better than he can with Aljamain Sterling. And for me, there's only 2 other real options at this point. Sean O'Malley's a little bit too far out for this conversation, but there's only 2 other names that I think he could be discussing here. First off, Marlon Moraes defeated Aljamain Sterling. The only time those 2 have ever fought, Marlon Moraes KO'd him in the very first round. Then he KO'd Jimmy Rivera in the very first round. Now, if we go before 2017, you see all that. But with us MMA fans, we only look about a year past the year before. We look 1 year back. And if you look a year back, his only loss is to Henry Cejudo. He defeated Jose Aldo via unanimous decision. He defeated Raphael Assuncao via submission in the very first round of their contest, defending his only other loss in his UFC career. So is Marlon Moraes the one that Dana's thinking about? Or is it the moneymaker himself, the fan favorite himself, the 1-3 in his last 4 fights? Is it Cody No Love Gardbrandt? Is it that tease of the former champion? Do they want to feed Petr Yan, another former champion? Do they want the promo material and the pay-per-view buys that Cody Gardbrandt has proved he can offer? Do they want the exciting fight that Cody Gardbrandt has proven to deliver on in basically all of his fights, every single one, wins or losses in his last 8 fights? Not one fight has left the second round. Not one fight has ended other than KO or TKO. Not one other fight, and 3 of those fights are world title fights. TJ Dillashaw twice, Dominic Cruz once. Dominic Cruz being the only decision, but there's a pleasure. There's a tease for Dana White there. There's that pay-per-view selling, thinking about Dana White there. Now, if there's one thing you can undercut Aljamain Sterling with, which if we're talking deserve, if we're talking who's had the strongest run of fights, the strongest run of wins, and Marlon Moraes, you got to go a little bit too far back. You got to go to the 2017s, the 2018s. Aljamain Sterling's there to deserve the shot. But the word deserve, once you get to the top 5, and once you're talking about who's beaten who, deserve goes out the window. It comes down to who can sell. If they decide to go outside of Aljamain Sterling, I know hardcore fans are going to be very, very upset. But it's a very realistic option. I think that we got about 30% chance that they go with Cody Gardbrandt, that they slide Cody Gardbrandt in there. I don't know what they're going to do. And you have Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley's a little too far off to put him in this conversation. He's there You could see it. I could see a possibility of maybe Sean O'Malley coming up in his next couple fights and getting a title fight, but I think it's going to be too close to call with Sean O'Malley, where we're going to have to wait down the line. He's going to have to get past Chito Vera. He's going to have to get past the top 10 opponent, then probably a top 5 opponent before we even see him in a title fight. But these 3 names, I wouldn't be surprised if Dana White goes with any of these 3 names. I'm hoping it's Aljamain Sterling for the good of the sport, for the good of the business. The fact that we want to promote the fact that winners deserve title shots. I've seen a lot of people. I follow a lot of hardcore MMA fans on Twitter, and they're all for Aljamain Sterling. They're so far towards Aljamain Sterling that any other option is discrediting, is a disgrace to the sport itself. But I bring this to you guys for you guys to let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you think Dana White's going to go with Cody Garbrandt? Do you think he's going to slide in that pay-per-view buy guy? Or do you think he's going to send in Marlon Moraes, who really hasn't lost to anybody but Henry Cejudo? He fought in a world title fight. You can play that. Or do you think they're going to go with the guy that most deserves the shot in Aljamain Sterling? That is the question for everybody. And I'm super interested to see what the UFC does. But more videos planned for this week. Make sure you hit that sub button to Combat Sports Central so you don't miss a thing. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. And remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss a goddamn thing. But that'll do it for today, guys. Peace out.